Now, let me tell you number one reason why you did not obtain your result. Jesus said, when I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. Can I have the scripture? When I be lifted up. You see, a lot of us like lifting ourselves. Now we are continuing what we did yesterday. Yesterday was a revival moment. I said, when you hurry, you will not do what? You will not get faster than when you go for it. Listen to this carefully. Can I have that my statement there? You see, many of us think that if I hurry up, I will get there. Because, look, I don't have time. I don't want to be quoting scriptures. There's a guy by the name Ahimaeus. I said one day I'll teach you about him. I don't know if you remember. I said I'll teach you about him. When he heard that Saul was dead, he was not the one who was the carrier of the news. He said, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And there's a way you communicate to a king. There is a way you communicate to the king. The guy went there, and everything he said was useless, because that's not how you communicate to a king. Many people are running when they don't have a message. Being a leader of a team doesn't make you a leader. That's a serious statement. Leader. Being a leader of a team. You can be asked that to lead this team. But that doesn't mean you are the leader. Because the leader is the one that carries the mandate. Being first doesn't mean you have won. John the Baptist was first to arrive. 6 months ahead of Jesus. But he was just the pra-pra-kwemu person. Being in a hurry doesn't make you first. But if you listen, the one who finishes writing the exam has not passed. The fact that you finish first when they brought the paper, more paper, more paper, 30 minutes you finish, you submitted. Doesn't mean you have passed. But the one who is listening. Because you can get there and not know what to do. Look, sometimes I feel that heaven will have a password. The rapture will be a password. So when even you want to fly, and you don't have the password, you won't go. And the password is simple. It said, it does not yet appear what we shall be. But when we see him, we will know him. So if you have not seen him, if you have not learned about him, he'll be passing. You will pass. You don't know that it's him. That's interesting. If you don't know him, you will see him and you will pass. Somebody too will see him and will rapture because the person knows him. It does not yet appear what we shall be. But when we see him, we shall see him as he is. And say, as he is, so are we. Okay, let's read. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and that not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Have you seen somebody that you see him that you don't know before? One day, I was driving and I was looking at somebody. My wife said, why are you looking at? He said, this person looks like somebody I know. It looks like somebody I know. Years later, the person joined the church. It's like, it's somebody I know. Now, when you see Jesus and you've not seen him before, and please, Jesus doesn't look like a picture in your room. Those paintings, let it not deceive you. So how would you know a man that you've not known? Sometimes I listen to people. When the person talks, I said, are you a winner? Do you know what's a winner? That the person go to winners. Because no winner person will tell you, I don't have money. They say, I'm fully loaded. And you say, Onisika, no. That is, when they say that, you know that, are you a winner? The first doesn't look like a winner. But a statement he or she makes you recognize that he's part of the winner's family. In that same way, it will even be like Jesus will make a certain statement. There's something he will say, there's something he will do that will make you know that is him. Like the people, like the two people on the road to Emmaus. They never knew it was Jesus until he broke the bread. As soon as he broke the bread, then they remembered. They said, wow. So they've been walking with him all this while. And we did not know. Back to the statement. Hurrying does not mean. Hurrying does not mean you do what? You're there faster. But listening. Listening. Look at somebody and say, are you listening? Many are in a hurry to do things for God and they are not listening. Because when you listen, then you know what you've got to do. Have you gotten to a place in your life where you don't know what to do? Because you were not listening. You know, guess what? You have to go back. Like I send you to market. Go and buy this for me and you take the money. Okay. You go to market. What am I buying? Number one, you can buy what you want and bring. Return to sender. Or you must return back and come and ask again. What do I buy? Why? You were in a hurry. 2020. Don't be in a hurry. I've had 2 meetings with Pastor Charles this past 2 weeks, and it's so funny. After I've spoken, he would say, Daddy, you said. He repeats it back to me, and I laugh. I say, okay, he understands. Because sometimes somebody will say something. You think you heard him. But you didn't understand what he said. Like if I man easily think that I said I won't eat again, and you eat it. I remember I have a case with Rukaya when she was going to hit my food. I said, Rukaya, I didn't say eat. I said hit. Say it after me. Say eat. I said, no, I didn't say eat. I said, spell it for me. Say E-A-T. I said, no, add H-H-G-A-T. Are you understanding me? Because if you are not careful, my pronunciation will make you even think you heard me. Jesus said, when I be lifted up, I will draw all men. Let me tell you this. If you do your department like it is about you, instead of it being about him, you can't draw one person. Someone was crying to me, I now have to get 50 people. I've not even gotten 5. And the person was crying. And I left. Because I know you can't get 5 crying. Nobody follows a crier. Nobody follows a complainant. Even God cannot sustain a person who is always complaining and blaming situations for their lapses. If your people were correct, I would have had the feeling. If people were correct, let's read, go. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. Now hear me. Their souls are not yours. How do you draw people? Why do you lift Jesus up? So that Jesus will draw them to you, number one. If you don't do things like Jesus, people will not see Jesus in you, and you won't draw them. Don't do things like you learned in Gimpa. Or what you learned in the university. No. When we become born again, we pick a nature which is the nature of Christ. And it is that nature of Christ that makes us see, will react when we see him, and we will get raptured. Are you getting where I'm coming from? And in that same way, when the Christ nature is in you, you attract the Christ nature people. So now the question is, how do you get the people? Let your leadership be like Jesus. Let your leadership be like what? Don't let your leadership me the way daddy fired me too, I'll fire you. No. So assuming I fired mistakenly, you also mistakenly firing. Maybe I have a grace. God told Moses, and he said even to David, he said, I give you sure message, no matter what you do, you will make it. If you do any sin, you will still make it. There are some things people will do and survive, you do, you die. That's why never copy blindly. There are some things people will do. If I am really going to meet God, and I didn't understand God, I've asked God, he was unfair to Saul compared to what David did. Saul only kept the things to do, give God more offering. He said, I'm keeping this so that I'll give you an offering. I didn't kill all the animals because I wanted to offer them to you. And God said, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice. I don't need your sacrifice. What I told you to do is what you've got to do. That's why I said earlier, hurrying will not get you there faster. If you had listened. So if you read that scripture, it said, and to hearken, then the fatness of rams. How do you do things like Jesus? Number one, Jesus had a heart to forgive. And we are going to pray very soon that I want to be like Jesus. You know that song? To be like Jesus. All I want is to be like him. All through life journey, from earth to glory, all I want. Now, if you forgive like Jesus, people will say you are a fool. And if you listen to them, you are now a fool. Because none of the people you listen to will rapture you. None of the people you listen to will help you. Jesus forgave. Look at how Jesus forgave. A person is caught in an act. Oh, God. I like the way the people came in John 8. He said this woman was caught in the act. Life and color. We saw it. Jesus defended the person. Do you defend your souls like that? Or because you saw them in the act, or they told you that this person has sinned, fornicated, committed adultery, did that. Because of that, you decide not to get close to them. They told Jesus he's caught in the act. Jesus defended this person. If you have not seen before, repeat it. Stone this person. And they all left. Then Jesus looked at them and said, neither do I condemn you. Does he have the power to condemn? Yes, he has. I said, no. Sin no more. Sometimes even people in our departments do little things against us. And we take it so personal that it affects the whole department. I think it's not true. So number one, forgive like Jesus. And can I tell you something about forgiveness? The way you forgive is the way God forgives you. If you forgive partially, you too, you are forgiving partially. If you forgive, okay, I'll forgive, but I'll not fellowship with this person again. God will forgive you, but I will not fellowship with you again. Number 2. Defend your flock. Whether they are right or they are wrong. Some of you, even you don't even defend your shepherd. Like if somebody can say, the pastor is like this, this way. I even didn't want to say it. But look at Jesus. He and his disciples had just come and they saw corn in a bush. Without they washing their hands, they began to eat. Then the Pharisees can say, so your disciples don't wash their hands before they eat. Jesus said, hey, it's not what enters your mouth, it's what comes out of you. What a defense. But me and you, we know that personal hygiene is important. Is it true or is not true? Washing your hands without eating is not good. But Jesus defended them. Then one day they came to Jesus and said, as for this, your disciples, they don't like fasting at all. John the Baptist, the disciples fasted. You people, they don't like fasting at all. So, as long as I'm here, why should they fast? But he had told them that this kind does not go except by prayer and fasting. Now, this is sometimes why people say there's hypocrisy in Christianity. It's not hypocrisy. Because on one bread, you are telling me to fast. But one bread, you are defending me for not fasting. So, forgive like Jesus. Defend like Jesus. Defend the people. Am I teaching you something here? Defend, fight for them. Yeah, they could be wrong. Never join the enemy. Never join the other side. They might be right, but they don't have the truth. There's a difference between right and truth. I'm giving you 2. There's more. To be like Jesus. Pray every morning, early morning. Jesus prayed early in the morning. If you start your day with prayer, the chances of making mistake is only 10%. Tight. If you start your morning with prayer and end your day, your night in prayer, the chances, if you read the Bible says, a great while before day, he rose up and went to pray. I'm teaching you how to be like Jesus. I'm not teaching you how to be like me. The next one. Still on prayer. The 4th point. At least once a month, have an all-night prayer. Jesus had a habit of having, the Bible says, and he prayed through the night. I want you to be like Jesus. All night. And I'm not talking about all night because other people are there to pray with you. All night alone. All night with your family. All night alone. When you say this night is an encounter night with Jesus, I want to spend this night all through the night. Spiritual warfare. The next one. To be like Jesus. It is not always that you must let people know you know. To be like Jesus. It is not always that you must let people know you know. Get people involved. Get them involved. John chapter 6 will tell you that for Jesus to feed the multitude, he asked Philip, whence can we find bread that this may eat? And the Bible said, this is said, knowing what you will do. When you're a leader, you always make people know what you will do. Nobody follows you. You know what you will do, but ask for people's opinion. I think we should be having some time to have all night. What do you think? Which day is okay? You know very well that you have chosen Friday. A sample opinions. Sample opinions. Oh, I think this day is good. I think this day is not good. I think this day... Oh, okay. All of you said very well. But wow, what do you think about this day? Don't go and plan and come and impose. Plan. Know what you want to do. But get others involved. I've come to realize this about life. If you get people involved, and even later on, you don't take their advice, for you to ask them, oh, what do you think? When you take that decision, they support you. Because at least you saw their opinion. But when you don't seek their opinion, and you go ahead and you do it, they do this. You say you can do it. Do it, let's see. Look at this. Look at Jesus. Another one there. It's the same verse 5. Learn to use the word we when we are speaking than I, to be like Jesus. It is a where can you find bread? I often do it when I say, can we sweep? I'm never going to sweep myself. You will do the sweeping. And I said, can we sweep? Is somebody understand where I'm coming from? I think when we have all night, it will be helpful. I'm not going to be part of the one, but when we have all night. So let me tell you, be careful about people who say things like, your church. Your church, our church are not the same. Your department. The person that say, our department. That other person is not Jesus-like. Jesus told the disciples, let us go to the other side. Let us go. Jesus liked using the word we, us. Well, sometimes he said the I. Somebody asked a question. How many of you were at those who want to work in my office section? Somebody asked a question, and the Lord wanted me to answer. Now, how can one man have different facets? I come to realize that even if you don't understand the 4 facets of God, let me even put God aside. The face of an eagle, the face of an ox, the face of a lamb, the face of a man. You can't work with God. In that same way, if you can't relate to Jesus as the Son of God, as the Son of Man, as a Savior, and as what again? As King. You can't relate to Him. Jesus, you be lifted higher, higher, and higher. Now hear me, the next one. To be like Jesus, always ask yourself, what would Jesus have done in my situation? Not what is normally done. What would Jesus have done if he was in my shoes? Now hear me. If you are in leadership position and you've not read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you don't qualify to be a leader. Why? Because the synoptic gospels, the synoptic gospels, yeah. If you don't understand Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you don't understand the life of Jesus. When you ask yourself, what would Jesus have done? You will not face it. Because Jesus was criticized. He was condemned. He was insulted. He was assaulted. he was questioned. And let me tell you this. It will shock you that not everybody who asks you a question wants your good. Most people who ask you questions, it's a trick. When you're a leader, you're very smart. 99% of the questions they asked Jesus was a trick for him. Are you the Son of God? Should we pay tax or not pay tax? Sometimes you think that people love you because they ask you questions. They've gone out there, they have confused them. And they are coming to put the questions on you to find out what you think and go and give it back to them. So in answering people, you should realize that a servant is not greater than his master. And if they did it to Jesus, they will do it to you. How many of you have gone through an issue with your congregant and have asked yourself, what would Jesus have done in my situation? How many have done that before? Whoa. Hey. How many of you, let's communicate. How many of you have gone through something in ministry and you ask yourself, what would Jesus have done if he was here? I didn't hear you. If you ask if it was me, yeah. That's why maybe you get less people following you. The first should be, if it was Jesus, what will he do? A lot of the times, that's what I do. And because I've read a lot about Jesus, today I was talking to somebody about a pastor, somebody from the US. And I was telling him why somebody's church was collapsing. Because this person, hear me carefully, his wife has refused to go to church for over 15 years. The pastor is a senior pastor, and his wife have not been to church for like 15 years. And the church keeps going down. And I was telling the person that if it was me, I would divorce the woman. And the person said, Paul said, he said what? Paul said, if you can't keep your house together, you have failed. I said, you are quoting Paul. Let me quote you Jesus. He says, anybody who follows me and loves his father, mother, wife, husband is not fit for the kingdom. I said, I prefer Jesus to Paul. Don't quote me Moses. Don't quote me Elijah. None of them will rapture me. Don't quote me Paul. A lot of the Paul's letters were explanations. Any explanation that does not equal what Jesus said is not an explanation. That is why in the Old Testament, the colors for the temple was blue, white, red, and what? Oh, purple. Which were the 4 Gospels. So that's why I said that if you are a leader and you have not read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and you understood it holistically and completely, your leadership is questionable. Please read it for me. Jesus answered and said, verily I say unto you, there is no man that have left house, brethren, or sisters, or fathers, or what, mother, or wife, or children, for the sake of no, this even there's this for gospel section. Listen, there's even another one that is fit for the kingdom. So it's possible. Are you with me? That Satan can attack you. But everything you must ask yourself, what would Jesus have done? I'm surprised. Everyone look at me. They both wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Why didn't they write that Jesus urinated? There were some things they should have written. So be careful also about people who you call leaders, who only write the other side of you but not the good side of you. And let me tell you this, if people only could look at your fault, your days, your dad, then there's a question. I'm talking like Jesus. The next one, have your favorites. Be like Jesus, have your favorites. Jesus had favorites. This is leaders' meeting. What did I say? How many points have I given so far? Jesus had favorites. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you something. Favorites will make people yearn to be better. All classes are not equal. Let me prove it to you. Jesus had 70 disciples. He had 12. He had Peter, James, and John. There were places he went with Peter, James, and John. He never went with others. You can decide not to like Jesus for that. And there were places where he will be closer and be hugging John when others cannot be hugged. Now, if you watch Bridge Ministries, one of the things I do is that I use my pastors to help, two of us. Yeah. So that you also want to be a pastor. You look at their life, how God is blessing them, and you say, I also want to serve God that way. You see, the problem with all of us is that we like to treat everybody the same. And in life, if you treat everybody the same, you lose something you become dishonorable. Because if you want to honor everybody, you will make those who must be honored unhonored. Let me give you an example. If you want to give everybody Christmas bonus here in this room, 10 Ghana, and you give me also 10 Ghana, you have insulted me. Even though we are all human beings. Or it's not true? Yeah. So one of the things I learned from Jesus, that Jesus had favorites. And people say you are not supposed to have favorites. No, I'm talking about Jesus. I'm not talking about Paul. I'm not talking about Moses. I'm not talking about Gandhi. Learn from Jesus. How many have I given? If I get to 10, tell me, because I can't give you 100. If you're a leader, never follow the flock. Let the flock follow you. There was nowhere in the Bible that Jesus took his favorite. Sometimes you can choose favorites. Everybody, can I have your attention? Everybody, look at me. Yeah, it's good you are looking at me. People can have their favorites, and they will tend to be like their favorites. Jesus chose Peter, James, and John. And yet, when they went to pray and they slept, Jesus did not sleep. Your favorite can diminish you. They can bring you to their level. Don't stop playing. Let me tell you this. When Jesus had to meet Moses and Elijah at the transfiguration, his three favorites decided to sleep. Let me tell you this. Let me give an example. Imagine I chose Pastor Daniel, Pastor Soma, Pastor Bomas as my favorite. And I said, let's go to the mountain and praise. Daddy, maybe I'm tired. Tomorrow is 31st, and 31st night, there'll be a long night, so I'm tired. It is so easy for me, take your seat, for me to condescend. There's okay, let us all sleep. Why? Because they want to sleep and they are my favorite. Jesus never did that. When you are a leader, don't follow the flock. Let the flock follow you. The flock will always want to change your ideologies. They would like you to conform to them. People work in my office will tell you that if you come and tell me that I can't come to the office today because I'll tell you that. So if we're working at Bank of Ghana, will you just call in the morning and say, I can't come to the office? Because today I don't feel like coming to the office. Or because I'm angry with you, so today I won't come to the office. It's because we belittle God's work. It's because we don't value God's work. That's why we can do that. If you value, that's why you get small pay from God. Because God knows your heart of heart that you devalue. If you esteem this, value this work so high, your pay will be higher than the one who works in Bank of Ghana. And guess what? I've realized this. Pastor David will tell you this, that when I started Bridge and they were not listening to me, I spent time fasting and prayer. I could have joined them in fellowshipping. Because we're all mates. That's why I'm his boss now. We're all colleagues. We grew up together. Let's meet. We met.